Hey Joe fans, I'm JoeFan82 here with a quick news flash. This just came out, I believe, yesterday, and I had planned on recording a video for this, but it was getting kind of late tonight, and I figured, let's just do it live. We'll do it live. So hopefully everything's working. This is very last minute. I just threw everything together. So I posted on my social media. If you follow me on Facebook or Twitter, you already know about this news story. IDW Publishing has announced a new G.I. Joe comic book coming in September, and it is called G.I. Joe. And so let me throw up. So this is the thumbnail for this video, but in here you can see the cover for number 1. And yeah, so there it is. So let me go back and read one of the articles explaining this. This has been picked up by most of the news sources that cover comic book news by now, but I'm just going to read from the IGN article, and it says a fresh start for G.I. Joe. And who's the... Well, here we go. Okay, this new volume of G.I. Joe will be written by Paul Allor, who has written Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Universe, and drawn by Chris Evenhuis. I'm probably mispronouncing this. That's my phone. Chris Evenhuis. And it says, Evenhuis, Dustin Weaver, and Eleonora Carlini will provide variant covers for the series. And it goes on down here to say that both Allor, the writer, and the artist worked on IDW's G.I. Joe series that started in 2013. So they've had G.I. Joe experience. I don't think they worked on the series that was written by him who shall not be named. Excuse me, got a little thirsty there. But the writer, Allor, confirmed via Twitter that the new series is a complete reboot, not connected to any previous G.I. Joe comic. In that sense, the series appears to be similar to IDW's current Transformers comic, which rebooted that franchise in the aftermath of last year's Transformers Unicron crossover. And IDW Publishing issued a press release, and it was actually done in a kind of a creative way. The press release was written as though it was coming from the Cobra World Order. So in this new series, it looks like Cobra has taken over the world, and G.I. Joe is a part of a rebellion, a resurgent, resistance against Cobra. And their press release is saying, watch out for, G.I. Joe. Don't believe anything they say. Follow Cobra. And I want to show you the... so Allor is quoted, the writer is quoted here, and he says, old school G.I. Joe fans will absolutely love it and find it true to everything G.I. Joe stands for. And new folks will be attracted to a deeply character-driven tale of hope and humanity, and about the power of resilience in an increasingly unraveling world. So that sounds good. This article here goes on to say this series will be the first ongoing G.I. Joe comic to debut since Scarlet's Strike Force was announced in 2017 and was abruptly canceled after its 3rd issue. So this series looks like it follows closely to what we saw in the original Sunbow animated series with the 2-part episode Worlds Without End. If you're not familiar with that, go check it out. Really one of the best episodes from that series, where G.I. Joe goes to an alternate world where Cobra has taken over and G.I. Joe is a resistance. This new comic seems to be following that same basic storyline. And they've shown the cover of issue number 1, And so here it is. You'll see it on the right there. And there's a wanted poster on the wall. It says wanted crimes against Cobra. And you've got a picture of Duke and Scarlet. And then you've got a man, looking at the poster. He's wearing a red jacket with a tiger on the back. And in the distance, you can see a tall building with the Cobra logo. Cobra's logo's all over it. So Cobra is in charge in that world. And so when I first saw this, I got a little excited because there's a tiger on his jacket. I'm thinking, oh, finally, we're going to see Tiger Force get the spotlight, you know. However, after going to the writer's Twitter account, he's been very active the last day or so, getting the word out about the new series. And he's allowing anybody to just come and ask him questions. Find him on Twitter, and you can ask him really anything about the new series. On Twitter, he is at Paul Allor, Paulallor, and he actually addressed who that person is with the tiger jacket. Someone asked him. Let me see if I can find it here. Somebody asked him if it's an ongoing series or a mini-series like we saw Sierra Muerte. He says this is an ongoing series. It's not limited to 5 or 7 issues or whatever. This is ongoing. And here we go. So someone asked him who the guy in the red jacket was, and he says it's a brand new character, which is, to me, it's always fresh to get nice to get a new character. He says one of a few you'll be seeing, along with a large cast of established G.I. Joe heroes and villains, and a whole lot of folks in between. So it sounds like he's going to draw from the huge G.I. Joe roster we've come to know, but he's also going to be throwing in some additional new characters, which sounds good to me. This sounds very exciting to me. This is something that we really haven't seen before, where Cobra is in charge and G.I. Joe is a resistance for an extended story, like an ongoing comic. So it looks like Duke and Scarlet are two of the main characters. I believe somewhere on here on Twitter he mentioned that Jinx would be in there. So that's nice to see her. So yeah, what do you guys think? Do you think this is a good thing for the brand? Are you excited about this series? What's your opinion? This is not affecting Larry Hama's series at all. This is totally separate. They are not canceling Hama's series and starting this one. To me, this is implying that IDW has had strong sales with one G.I. Joe title, so they're bringing back another one, a second series, just like they had, a while ago. They had Hama and the other series going at the same time concurrently, so they're bringing that back. I think they've seen strong sales with Hama, with the introduction of Don Moreno and the storylines that he's doing. And so, yeah, I think this could be really, really good. I apologize if I have kind of missed you guys in the chat. I was kind of wanted to get the story out there. Hey guys, thanks for jumping on. Delva78, Jinkiz, Bernard Drawings, Woodman 29, McDowin. Yeah, it's not the first time we've seen that idea, but Delva78 says, I hope it has a main roster without swapping characters out a lot. I would like to see, a core group, but then let's have, appearances by other characters. With this kind of story, I feel like it doesn't lend itself to having a huge roster of G.I. Joe. Being a Resistance, it's going to be a smaller group. So Cobra is going to be, I can see seeing every Cobra that there's ever been plus new ones, because they're everywhere, and then G.I. Joe being on a smaller scale. Dova78 says ninjas. I haven't seen anything about, I didn't read through all of his Twitter comments. A lot of people were asking him questions, and I just was able to see a few. So I don't know if Snake Eyes is in this. I would imagine he would be. He's the most popular Joe character, so I imagine if he's not a main character that he will show up at some point. I did see that he said Jinx is in it, so maybe Jinx will be a high profile, and Snake Eyes will be sort of on the outside somewhere. Delva78, there are hundreds of G.I. Joe characters. Why new ones? Well, that's a good question. So I think this character that we see in the cover is somebody that I think he wanted to write something that for a character that we don't have any preconceived notions about, So I'm okay with it. I mean, sure, there are lots of characters that, and he says that he's going to be bringing in some, so yeah. McDowell says new characters for new toys someday. Yeah, exactly. Like there's Agent Helix was a new character, and she's become one of the more popular ones. Imagine if they had only stuck with the original 13 and never added anything past that. Would G.I. Joe be the same? Probably not. So yeah. So it sounds like you guys are sort of optimistic about this. Maybe we're on the same wavelength here. I'm going to keep my eye out for it. It says it's supposed to come out in September, so not too long. We've only got a couple months, and it'll be out, the first issue. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So yeah. All right, guys, I think that's going to wrap up this short, quick news flash for you. And I'm going to, once this is done and it goes up, I'm going to put a link to the article I read from on IDW. And then I'm also going to try to put a link to Paul Allore's Twitter account, so you can go there and see all the stuff that he's said about the series. So thanks for watching, guys, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of my future stuff, and I'll see you next time.